Hey guys, Tarke here, and I just want to make a video talking about my thoughts on Ritual. I will be fairly negative. There's a lot I really like about Ritual, and I don't want this video to be used as a CGGG. Ritual is a terrible mechanic. But there's a few things I just want to talk about, because I had a pretty painful experience yesterday with Ritual. I had a more triggering experience yesterday with Ritual than I think I've had in my entire time playing Path of Exile since I stopped playing Hardcore. So what happened? I've been playing just this one character the whole time through. I had a Fated Connections appear on Ritual, I believe, end of day one. Also, just quickly, if I misexplain any mechanics, please point them out correctly in the comments, and I'll pin it. I'm not meaning to misinform, because it's a new system, so I might just explain something wrong. Anyway, so it popped up at like the end of day one. I'm like, awesome, I'm ecstatic, I can afford it, I get it on defer. Great. Ever since Ritual got announced, I was like, I'm sure someone is going to be like offered a headhunter they can't afford. And when I first saw the Fated Connections on that first Ritual, I was like, I really hope I can afford this by the end, because I'm going to be crushed if I can't. And a lot of people day one of the league, you know, you saw it all over Reddit, and some people posting like, I had this awesome item and I couldn't afford to defer it through no fault of their own. Now, but it's fine. I could afford to defer it, so everything's chilling. Everything's good. Once you've deferred an item, you can't see like all the items you've deferred, and there's no guarantee when it will next appear. It could appear in the next zone, it could appear like 4 days later, and that's basically what happened to me. I deferred it like end of day one, and I didn't see it again until like 2, maybe 3 full days later. I actually remember saying to a few people, I think I might have lost it, because it was such a long time until I saw it again. So I was kind of like, I went through this awkward like phase. But it eventually showed up again. Again, I could afford to defer it by the end of it. So I'm like, all right, cool. But with the second time it showed up, I wasn't like, I was excited to see it, but I was worried, because I'm like, I really hope I can afford to defer this by the end. And it wasn't a good worry. Keep on playing. I think the next day goes by, or at least like 12 hours or something. It shows up a third time. And I'm like, yes. And at this point, I've gotten over the whole, like, worry thing. In the whole time me playing my character, I've never once been in a situation where I couldn't afford to defer something at the end. I'm like, cool. Full clear the entire map, get to the end, go to defer it. There's not enough juice to defer it. I hadn't died in that map. I'd full cleared everything correctly. I'd done everything to my best ability. And I'm pretty sure I'd even done the boss, like, on the second Ritual. So I had the boss show up in another Ritual afterwards. So you could say I even kind of like min-maxed my Ritual gain for that zone. And I was crushed. I was like, if you don't know, the way the deferring works is you pay 15% to lower the cost by 10%. And if you've deferred an item, it shows up again and you don't re-defer it, it goes backwards a stage and the price goes up again. But I'm like, okay, that's awful, that sucks, but it's not that bad. I've deferred it like twice. I've got a safety net. If it shows up again, we're cool. My performance has been... it was really bad day one, then it was mostly smooth. Yesterday, I had loads of crashes, loads of hard crashes. Lots of entering maps, stepping away from my portal, and then just hard crashing every single portal. And then I started to realize, I can't guarantee that these maps I'm crashing in aren't the maps that my deferred items are showing up in. Because until you go to the Ritual and you check, you don't know. And also Ritual has this mechanic where, because you're not instantly shown everything from the first one, whenever I encounter a Ritual, I feel compelled to check all of the Rituals, even if I'm like just going into like a random Act 6 zone or like a random tier 1 map just to proc a prophecy. I feel compelled to full clear to make sure I'm not missing out. But I'm like, it's fine. I'm just getting paranoid. You haven't lost your Fated Connections. It's all chilling. Keep playing, keep playing, keep playing, keep playing. I'm like, haha. I go to a new thing. I see prophecy with my little window around it. I'm like, ho, that's my Fated Connections. Keep clearing, and then I hard crash and lose the map. Now, yeah. I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. I've deferred it multiple times. It's not that bad. And then I didn't know I was doing this, but it's not until like the next day that I looked back at it. The next, like, 2 hours of gameplay after that point, I just went on, like, a hard tilt. I had more deaths than I'd had in, like, an entire, like, 2 days worth of mapping. I, like, used every single portal on an Awakener, which, like, I never normally do. Normally I'm, like, okay at it. And I went to bed just, like, angry. I was just like, ugh. And then I woke up in the morning and I had that realization, you know, it's like when you go on a losing streak in a MOBA, you have like 2 or 3 bad games, you think you're fine, and then you just lose like 30 games in a row, and then you're like, I should have taken a break. I should have like stopped playing. I don't know now if I've lost my faded connections. Because I can't check, there's not like a window I can see like items I've deferred. It's kind of like Schrodinger's faded connections at this point. It's either still safe, great, or it's gone. I don't know. And I don't know how long it'll be until it shows up again. And because I've had bad server issues recently, I almost kind of just don't want to play this character anymore. As far as I'm aware, rituals are a character-by-character basis, not an account basis. And because getting a faded connections is such a big deal in SSF, I kind of just want to like level an ult and be like, if I just level an ult, it gives GG a couple of days to get their stuff together, and then I can hop back onto this character and, you know, which I think is what I'm probably going to end up doing, just because I'm like I'm just tilted, basically. It's an awesome league mechanic. You get great things from it, but when you get the low, I think the lows of this league are harder than the lows of most other leagues. Because like with most other leagues, if you fail a reward, you don't know what the reward was. This is something we've spoken about before with the devs on Bayclast, but it's like if you are running a Legion, for example, or like an Abyss, and you pop the Abyss, you're like, ho, we might get a Lich at the end. We don't know. We might get the Abyssal Depths, but you fail the Lich, or like you die, or whatever. It sucks. You're like, oh, I lost my reward. But oh well. It doesn't matter that much. If you pop a Legion, and you get like a bad Legion layout, or like you miss a general, or you miss like a war horde, you're like, oh, that sucks. But it doesn't hit you, because you didn't see what you... Like, you might have missed an Exalt, you might have missed a Mirror even. But because you didn't see what you missed, the sting is very short. It's just like a, ugh. But when you see this like insane tier 1 item, tier 0 item, you do everything in your best ability to acquire it, and then the game just says, no, we're not giving you enough tribute. That really sucks. And you're far more likely to run into that issue because of the way that tribute works. Like, the items that are going to hurt you the most in terms of not being able to defer it are the items that you're most likely not to be able to afford. Because it's like, you'll get excited over stuff like faded connections, like mirrors, headhunters, like random really rare uniques, you know, massive stacks of currency. Those cost more tribute, so they're more likely to get hit by the tribute bug than, for example, 5C. But anyway, awesome league mechanic. Super grateful for my onslaught on hit ring. Like, you can still get really cool things from it. Don't use this as like an excuse to not play the game, because it's not that. This is just me kind of like venting a bit and kind of just giving my thoughts on the league. Awesome league, but the lows of this league are low. I'm Tarke. Have a good day. Bye-bye.